Tonight on Joy News Prime, private members bill on the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill laid in Parliament. We have details for you. Also, man shoots and kills partner in presence of his children for threatening to divorce him.
I will run into the bush when I see my father. I knew my father did not have any good intentions for us. It's my mother.
Former Water Resources, Works and Housing Minister Collins Dauda defends himself over accusations he caused financial loss to the state in the Saglemi housing deal. We'll hear his side of the story.
$100 million Ghana secured for the Saglemi housing project was never given to Alhaji Collins Dauda.
Also tonight, the story of a 16-year-old who was thrown out of her home after a friend allegedly leaked her nude images.
Never took these pictures myself. I'm innocent.
Embattled Assin North MP James Jachekwesin continues to hold himself as a member of parliament as he embarks on a triumphant entry into his constituency.
I'm still your member of parliament.
Later in business, the last straw of hope as we have Ghana Union of Traders Association accuses government of attempts to remove the benchmark value reduction of 50% on some selected items, warning prices of the items will skyrocket.
It is not fair, and considering the unbearable prices that is the consuming public have to contend themselves with. World commodity prices have gone up astronomically high. The freight charges have gone up high.
My name is Ernest Timin, and Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios here at Fonofa in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Stay with us. Hello again, many thanks for joining us wherever you are. Now the spokesperson for former Water Resources, Works and Housing Minister Collins Dauda says the monies expended on the Saglemi housing project during his time at the ministry were disbursed directly from the Finance Ministry. Now Mr. Dauda has been charged with causing financial loss to the state in the Saglemi housing project. The erstwhile minister who supervised the initiative at the time it was approved by Parliament has also been charged with intentionally misapplying public property. The former minister, through his spokesperson, has been defending his role in the execution of the project. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, here's a Newsdesk report detailing the writ filed by the Attorney General. Counts of criminal charges against the accused persons for intentionally misapplying $200 million of state funds by paying for 1,412 affordable housing units at Saglemi instead of 5,000 units as Parliament had approved. Alhaji Dauda and his alleged accomplices are also charged for willfully causing financial loss to the state, contrary to Section 179A of the Criminal Offences Act. The other accused are Alhaji Dauda's successor at the Housing Ministry from April 2015 to 2017, Ajman Mensah, the Chief Director at the Ministry from 2009 to 2017, Alhaji Ziblim Yakubu, the Executive Chairman of Constructora OAS, the Brazilian company which constructed the affordable housing project, Andrew Clocanas, and Director of RMS, the Engineering, Procurement and Construction Consultancy subcontractor Novi Tete Angelo. They are also facing charges of intentionally misapplying public property contrary to Section 1(2) of the Public Procurement Protection Act, issuing false certificates contrary to Government Contracts Protection Act, and dishonestly causing loss to public property. In its document, government alleged that although $196.43 million had been spent on the Saglemi affordable housing project, the contractor having been paid $179.9 million, investigations carried out revealed that the cost of the works executed on site, including consultancy services, was about $64.98 million, with only 651.75 acres of land used out of the 2,172 acres available for the project. It also stated that investigations further revealed that only 668 housing units were completed by the contractor. These are, however, not habitable, the AG said, adding that, quote, not a single house under the project has been sold and the facility remains unpaid, resulting in huge financial loss to the Republic of Ghana. Reacting to the accusations, Collins Dauda's spokesperson Eric Opoku explained that the money Mr. Dauda is alleged to have misapplied was not given directly to him to spend, but was rather disbursed by the Ministry of Finance.
In the first place, I want to put it on record that the $200 million Ghana secured for the Saglemi housing project was never given to Alhaji Collins Dauda, nor the Ministry of Works and Housing. The entire facility was at the Ministry of Finance. And the Ministry of Works and Housing, under the supervision of Alhaji Collins Dauda, was to supervise the project implementation. So when the consultant on the project, in this case, AESL, generates certificate, performance certificate, it was the duty of the ministry to add a covering letter and forward the certificate to the Ministry of Finance for payment. That was the arrangement. So Collins Dauda was not directly responsible for the disbursement of the funds.
But before the minister would issue a certificate, he must have, or the ministry must have done their checks to establish that the work that has been done merits a certificate, which will then warrant a cover letter from him under his hand recommending payment.
Perfectly. I agree with you perfectly. But you must also understand that in respect of the same facility, Collins Dauda supervised the construction for a period, left the ministry. Another minister, Honorable Ajma Mensah, took over. He continued with the project. And then in 2017, the new government, NPP government, came to power, and Honorable Atatia also continued. It must be indicated that during the time of Honorable Atatia, a certificate was annexed. So if it is about the recommendation, then all the three ministers who supervised the construction also issued certificates for payment or recommended certificates for payment.
So his response to the charge of intentionally misapplying the $200 million and also causing financial loss to the state will be?
That it is never true. Even during Collins Dauda's time, to be honest with you, Collins Dauda left the ministry somewhere in April 2015. When you look at the payments that were made, at the time Collins Dauda was living, almost 90 million of the total sum had been disbursed. 90 million. And in the contract, it is provided that the contractor should be given a mobilization of 40% of the contract sum, which is $80 million. And so it means that at the time Collins Dauda was living, just the mobilization has been paid. And so how would you say that Collins Dauda intentionally misapplied $200 million? It's neither here nor there.
Now, Mr. Opoku has also been explaining why the $200 million delivered only 1,421 housing units instead of the 5,000 that had been budgeted for.
The explanation is simple. The $200 million was meant for the construction of 5,000 housing units. Only the housing units. But you understand that when you put up those structures, the place cannot be habitable. government was to provide all the other facilities, roads, drainage, sewage, electricity, and all the other facilities that will make the place habitable. But that fund from government did not come. And so the ministry decided to use the 200 million to provide those facilities in addition to the buildings that they are to provide. And that was the reason why the minister who started the project, the facility was brought to Parliament by Honorable E.T. Mensah. Honorable E.T. Mensah testified that the project was going to be implemented in phases. So they will, at the end of the period, provide the 5,000 housing units, but in phases. Honorable Collins Dauda came to that office and said, instead of 4 phases, can we do it 3 phases? And the first phase is what is being implemented now. That is the first phase. And in fact, when you read the 2018 budget submitted to Parliament by the government of the NPP, page 99, it is stated that 75% of the first phase of the Saglemi project is complete. So why is it that today, after indicating to the whole country that the first phase, 75 of it, is complete, now you are saying that no, the entire project was 5,000 and Collins Dauda unilaterally reduced it to 1,502. That is not the case.
To other stories now. She was falsely accused, humiliated, and left suicidal. That is the story of Amma, whose nude videos were allegedly leaked by her friend, who accused her of snatching her boyfriend. According to Amma, she was filmed without her consent while taking her bath. This incident happened 5 years ago when she was in senior high school. She was 16 years at the time. But today, 21-year-old Amma is still depressed and facing the harsh realities of life all alone, as though she had no family. Stella Amoya's report read to you.
Started taking pictures of me and videos. She told me to stay away from the guy or else this is what would happen to me. I thought she was joking. Because who would be so heartless to do that?
That is Amma narrating how she was non-consensually filmed back in senior high school by a female colleague who accused her of snatching her boyfriend while threatening to release the footage.
I was on vacation and one morning I woke up to loads of messages. It was scary, and I honestly cursed the day I met the guy. Literally cursed my stars. I told myself I wasn't going back to school because I couldn't face all these thousands of students with the mere thought that they all know how I look like without any clothes on. I was ashamed. Reality started hitting me when I was sacked from home because my mom said I had brought shame to her, so she couldn't live with me. I was 16 years at then. Where was I supposed to go? That was when I told myself, this is it for me. I can't live life like this without a mother even wanting to live with me. Crying out loud, I never took these pictures myself. I'm innocent.
As sad as it may seem, there are many more people who have suffered similar fates. A research by domestic violence charity Refuge indicated that 1 in 7 women has received threats that intimate photographs of them will be shared without their consent. According to a clinical psychologist at the Ghana Police Hospital, Dr. Foster Nenewoto, shame and guilt suffered leave the victim with a lifelong impact.
Studies have established that the effects that sexual abuse have had on people in childhood especially is similar to what revenge porn can have on people where people can develop depression. They can even go to the extent of becoming suicidal. And so it creates a perpetual mental health burden for such people for many years to come.
Dr. Nenewoto believes that the Cyber Security Act, which criminalizes the sharing of explicit content of an individual without their consent, will serve as a deterrent to perpetrators beyond the remit of the existing Criminal and Other Offences Act.
But recently in 2020, we have the Electronic Transactions Act. That law is more even stringent than the Criminal Offences Act. And in that law, there is custodial sentence. Apart from fines that may be in, a person can actually be put in prison for a longer period compared to the previous one, which had up to just months, but this one up to years in prison.
There seems to be a glimmer of hope as far as the legal framework regarding the phenomenon is concerned. Even though the new act prescribes up to 25-year jail term for perpetrators, its effective implementation is what will ease the pain of victims. Stella Amuyal's report for Joy News.
So that's a story that has been filed on revenge porn, and we'll be doing some more on this story. We'll be looking at how prevalent this is, especially among young people. We know that Parliament recently passed a bill on cybersecurity, which is supposed to deal with some of these activities. We'll find out if indeed this will be sufficient to deal with it legally, but also there are other aspects of it, the psychological, the emotional aspects. Let's go on to Zoom right now and speak to James Kofi Annan, who is president of human rights NGO Challenging Heights. Many thanks for your time here on Joy News Prime. You have seen the story as a human rights person. What is your reaction?
Yeah, thank you and good evening to your viewers. This is a very sad story, but this is not the first time something of this nature is happening. We have had several cases where even bloggers deliberately share such nude pictures as a way of attracting viewers and readers to their site. Now, it tells you, the fate of this lady, young lady, tells you how broken our system is. So if the secondary school that she was attended had strong counseling and support system, she would not have dropped out of school. She would have gotten the support that she needs in order to be able to continue her education. As it is now, she has been deprived of her education. So which means that all of us, by virtue of the broken system, all of us have helped this child to drop out. Unfortunately, the girl is underage, and it is possible that the person who shared the nude is also underage. So the law might not be able to catch up on both of them. I will recommend that now that we have a good law that bans the sharing of such nude pictures, I mean, people use it to blackmail, to smear, and so on and so forth. There's a need for public education, intensive public education on the law, so that people know that you can no longer blackmail somebody by way of sharing such nude pictures, even by way of just taking them with the intention of sharing them. Because remember that the intention of doing committing a crime and actually committing the crime are both criminal. Also, I believe that we must strengthen our counseling systems in the secondary schools and look again at the Children's Act.
Yes.
If you look at the Children's Act, there's some protection for some of these children.
Yes,
and we need to have a look at it.
And we'll be exploring that legal aspect when we're joined on the phone by a lawyer. But your organization has done, work on human rights. You did mention that this is not the first time it's happened. But when it comes to young people, how prevalent is this? And how can your organization support victims like this?
Well, as I said, it's very prevalent. Just that it doesn't come, a lot of it doesn't come to your attention. It's confined to the bloggers. And I don't have the statistics with me, but in Ghana, especially in Africa, is one of the key things that people use to blackmail young girls, even into sex. So once they get the nude, they can ask for more and more and more. I have offered that our organization would want to look after this girl. We want to help her. She wants to be a lawyer. That is what Challenging Heights stands for. We look after victims of such situations. So we have put out an information to look for this young girl and support her. We have a shelter rehabilitation center that can support her. So we want to support her. If you want to be a lawyer, we want to support her to be a lawyer. For the past 17 years, Challenging Heights has supported over 1,500 victims of various human rights abuses, especially children. This will not be an exception.
Thank you very much. That is the president of Challenging Heights, James Kofi Annan, joining us on the story of revenge porn. They've offered to give some help to the victim in this case. We'll be exploring the legal aspect as well once we're joined on the phone by a lawyer to look at what help possibly can be explored as far as the law is concerned. But let's move on to some other stories now, still on the law. Lawyers for embattled Assin North MP have filed a notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal in Cape Coast, seeking to overturn a decision of the High Court. We'll return to that shortly. But let's go on to the phone lines now. We're joined by lawyer Komi Dichi, who is a private legal practitioner. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Joy News Prime. Help us understand what are the legal implications of the action allegedly taken by a friend of the victim or a mate of the victim.
Okay, so thank you for having me, and good evening to your viewers. I may not be specifying, my responses may not be specific to this particular case. I will generalize, and then based on the responses, we are able to determine the options available to her.
Very well.
So the options can be classified into two. You will say civil, and then we will say criminal. For civil, under the common law of Ghana, she's allowed to sue in the tort of libel, which is one of the main classes of defamation. At least we are familiar with a case which was decided in the Cape Coast High Court by Justice Jones Duche when he was a High Court judge there, where someone's nude pictures were circulated, some were sold in a market circle, and the court held that he could found an action in libel against him, and indeed, in that case, the court found the persons who were culpable liable to the victim in the tort of libel. The case, I think, is Kwam versus Sally, 2003-2005, Supreme Court of Ghana Law Report. Then there is also the criminal route, where the victim could make a report to the police. It looks like with respect to the criminal dispensation, the law has shifted a little, so I'll deal with the old law. Okay. And then I'll come to the position of the law as we speak today.
Very, very briefly, because of limited time.
All right. So previously, under Section 280 of the Criminal Offences Act 29, the person could have lodged a complaint that the person who published the images is liable, and the person could be guilty of misdemeanor, and the maximum sentence will be 3 years. But under the new dispensation, there are enhanced sanctions for persons who engage in such acts under the Criminal Cybersecurity Act, Act 1038, where the person, the victim could report, and if the gentleman, the lady who circulated the pictures is found liable could go to jail for up to 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, and pay a penalty of 240,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah.
Very well. Thank you very much for your time. That is private legal practitioner Komivi Dochi bringing us some legal education on that story. So there's some room for redress for her once she decides to test the law on this issue. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Menu. Let's stay in the courts. Lawyer for embattled Assin North MP have filed a notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal in Cape Coast, seeking to overturn the decision of the High Court. They say the decision by the High Court was not based on law and was rather in breach of the 1992 Constitution, as well as other statutory provisions. National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, who led the legal team of James Jachikwason, says apart from the judge erring in law, the NDC would petition the Judicial Service to punish the Registrar of the High Court in Cape Coast and others who frustrated them when they wanted to file their processes last Wednesday.
Saying that the decision was a travesty of justice and should be overturned by the Court of Appeal because, number one, the trial judge lacked jurisdiction to determine the matter. The matter borders on the interpretation of the Constitution. Rival meanings were put on the meaning of Article 94(2)A, which was at the heart of this case. And per the laws of this country, the High Court judge was bound to refer the matter to the Supreme Court to interpret same because such issues fall within their exclusive jurisdiction under Article 130 of the 1992 Constitution. Secondly, we are saying that the trial court had no authority to determine this matter on the basis of foreign law without trial, without calling evidence. It was wrong for him to have resorted to Wikipedia.
Richard Kojunyaku has been with the team the entire day. Following them, reports that James Jachikwason and the national leadership of the NDC went to the Assin North constituency to reassure them the party will fight what they refer to as a battle, both politically and legally. He has more in the following report.
We are going with our MP to the constituency to engage with the party at the constituency level, and some of our regional executives are already there.
National
showed them that together with the constituents and those who voted for him, we will move and to go and assure them that together with the constituents and those who voted for him, we will move and support him to ensure that justice is not denied the people and that the vote and the confidence that they repose in him will not be dashed by anybody through any machination. So we are going there.
It is like a triumphant entry of the Member of Parliament for Assin North. After the judgment of the High Court, he has not come here. So today, they are welcoming him, and they say that it is only him they want. They do not want anything because they voted, they knew who they wanted.
I don't know what happened. Certain people are saying that the same person who went to electoral commission was cleared to contest and has won. They are saying he's not an MP. And Assin North constituency and Assin North district, we are also already behind Honorable James Jachikwason. So we do regard him as our MP, and we don't want anything. Those at the top cannot decide for Assin North constituency. We have elected our own member to represent us, and we know the good thing that Honorable James Jachikwason can do for Assin North constituency.
This means that he is somebody for the people. So why should we let somebody who will come and the constituents will not benefit from such person? So we are here to support, to tell the world that Honorable Jachikwason won on a good platform, and we are solidly behind him.
Joe Jachikwason first went to the Chief's Palace and spoke for the first time after the trial.
I'm not afraid of anybody.
When Nkrumah wanted to save Ghana, it was these same people. With your history, Nkrumah was imprisoned in Cape Coast and came back as a prime minister. Same applies to Nelson Mandela of South Africa, who spent 27 years in jail only to become the president of the country. There are some people who don't like it when a place is developing. I have come to help
you. Canada 40 years plus, I respect the law. I file appeal. I'm still your member of parliament. I'm still your member of parliament.
An emotional George Achikwesin could not hold back his tears, and so he wept.
And that room ribbon a person before Babua. I did a penny as
The man of the area in response said the area needs peace, and whatever happens for peace and development to prevail is what they desire. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenya Akon, Assin North.
Let's go to Parliament now. Correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gatro joins us. Joseph, do we know if Parliament has received any communication on this case yet? Hello, Joseph, can you hear me? Oh, we seem not to have Joseph Opoku-Gatro on the line, but we can hear from the national organizer of the NDC, Joshua Akamba, who has been speaking on this development.
After the court proceedings, he hasn't been to the constituency. And then today also, we decided to file the appeal processes. And we heard that his people were yearning to see him. And this is not organized, but his people had actually pleaded that he should come around so that they will see him. There are social media comments that he's been arrested, the police is looking for him and all that. So he's come actually to tell his people that he's well and safe and that he will go through the court processes and we are sure of victory.
Will he still avail himself to the CID investigation?
I doubt if there's a case like that.
So clearly he has the full backing of the national leadership of the NDC. But what is happening in Parliament? Joseph joins us again with details. Joseph, tell us, is Parliament aware of the developments in court? Has there been a formal communication?
I've checked, and the feedback I get is that no such formal communication has actually come to Parliament yet. But here in Parliament, the sources make the point that they don't pay heed to anything that's been put out, whether on media platforms or anywhere else. They are still awaiting whatever official communication will come to the House as far as this said vacation of the Assin North seat is concerned. But even with regards to the legal brains here in Parliament as an institution, not exactly at the level of the MPs, there is divided opinion on how the approach should be like. Some make the point that the House is actually expecting an official communication on this from the Electoral Commission, because then, as we all rightly know, when eventually 275 MPs were elected, it was the Electoral Commission that officially communicated to Parliament that these 275 individuals have been elected MPs. And so if a seat has been declared vacant and is being vacated, that communication needs to come to Parliament that this gentleman who was elected MP is no longer MP, and so then the processes to then appoint a new one would be beginning. There are also those who think that the Judicial Secretary or the Judiciary should go ahead and do that communication. But until now, no such communication have reached Parliament yet, and the House makes the point that they are waiting this communication to happen.
But the court made this decision last week. Since then, have you seen the Member of Parliament in and around the House? He today was at the constituency telling the people, I am still your Member of Parliament. Have you seen him in the House since the court decision?
On the day that the court actually gave that decision, I am reliably informed that he was on the premises of Parliament. Okay. And I got that confirmation, although I didn't spot him personally. I got that confirmation from multiple sources that he was spotted right here in Parliament. But since then, he's not been around ever since. Although his office remains, the office is locked most of the times, but he's not been spotted in the house ever since.
Joseph, stay with me because the private members bill on the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill has been laid in Parliament just a while ago. It has been referred to the Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee. What more can you tell us on this?
So this is the promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021, introduced by Samuel George and 7 other MPs. And just to quickly go over this detail, the objective of this particular bill, as is contained in the document, it's actually a 39-page document, is to provide for proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. Okay. And then it's expected to prescribe or for that matter forbid LGBTQ plus and related activities. It's also expected to forbid propaganda of, advocacy for, or promotion of LGBTQIAAP plus and related activities. And then the 2 final points is to provide for the protection of and support for children, as well as other persons who are victims or accused of some of these related activities. And so just a little over an hour ago, it was laid on the floor of Parliament. It's been referred to the Committee on Constitution and Legal Affairs, and we're expecting that sometime in the course of the year, they will return to the House with a report so MPs can possibly debate and go ahead with the final approval.
Many thanks to you, Joseph Opoku-Gatpo, for bringing us up to speed what happenings in Parliament. And indeed, the MP, one of the lead legislators on this, is hopeful that this will be passed by end of year. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Minu. Still to come, man shoots and kills partner in presence of his children for threatening to divorce him.
I will run into the bush when I see my father. I knew my father did not have any good intentions for us. It's my mother.
And later in business, the last straw of hope we have. Ghana Union of Traders Association accuses government of attempts to remove the benchmark value reduction of 50% on some selected items, warning prices of the items will skyrocket.
It's not fair. And considering the unbearable prices that is the consuming public have to contend themselves with, world commodity prices have gone up astronomically high, the freight charges have gone up high.
Charles is standing by with details after this break. Don't go away.
And you're welcome to business. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association is accusing government of attempts to remove the benchmark value reduction of 50% on some selected items. It says any scrapping of the policy will escalate prices of goods on the market. And of course, we'll hear from the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, shortly. But first, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority is hinting of plans to review 50% reduction on selected items at the ports. Take a listen.
Shared it with some various stakeholders as far as decision makers are concerned. And I must say that it is being reviewed, and at the right time, whatever comes out will be shared. We have looked at both the some of the products that are impacted. We have also looked at some of the goods that where we have excise taxes on them, that if you look at the excise tax we have on them, that talking about the imported ones as well as compared to the locally manufactured ones. And then you look at the benchmark that comes after the thing has been imported, and then its effects compared to the manufactured one, when you take some of the products like the tobacco and other things like that. So it is something that we have discussed, and we have looked at some of the details, and we have presented, and discussions are ongoing. And I cannot firmly say at what point, but it's something that's being looked at.
Let's now bring in the president of the GUTA, Joseph Obeng, who warns that the 50% reduction on the benchmark value is the last straw of hope that retail businesses are holding on in the wake of the outbreak of COVID-19. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
The Council of State just called us recently to discuss on way forward as to why prices are escalating in the market. If you recall, the former Deputy Minister of Finance also brought to the fore of Parliament the fact that prices of goods and services are escalating in this country. These are all coming because we are not in normal times. The effect of the COVID is is having its heavy toll on the trading community as well as the consuming public. And that's the reason why we are not expecting that at this time, that's this trying moment where businesses are on the verge of collapse, this good policy that government introduced should be reversed. It is not fair. And considering the unbearable prices that is the consuming public have to contend themselves with, world commodity prices have gone up astronomically high, the freight charges have gone up high. If the intention of government is to get a hands on its revenue collection, then this is not the proper form that it should adopt, because it's not going to succeed anyway. With the introduction of the benchmark policy, government have exceeded all its revenue targets.
Now, local cement producer Gassem says it will adjust the price of its cement products if the cost of raw materials and freight charges witness a reduction in the coming weeks. According to the company, it is committed to contributing to the development of the country despite several interventions made already in the past years. Speaking to Joy Business, the managing director Stefano Gallini hinted that the recent hike in the prices of cement is as a result of the high cost that it incurs during its production stages.
That we are facing, we have been exposed to the crazy jump of the freights in the last 6, 7, 8 months. I mean, from the end of last year till today, the cost of freights doubled and sometimes tripled. I mean, you can look also the containers, the cost of the containers, it went really skyrocketed. Now, to identify the reason is difficult, because could be partially the economic growth, partially Asia, partially oil prices, partially most probably the attempt to compensate part of the losses that the maritime activities had last year. But we saw the cost of our raw materials more than doubling in the last 6, 7 months. That's a fact.
So is it likely to affect pricing if it continues?
We are trying to contain it as much as possible, but obviously there might be an impact. Obviously, there has already been, because we have been obliged to have some price steps in February and in March, and we have been absorbing so far the extra cost that we had, but obviously there might be an impact on the prices, but that is strictly related to the cost of the raw materials. And to make it very clear, in the moment that the freights will go down, we have a commitment also to readjust the prices down. So the steps that we have taken in terms of prices, together with the Ebenezer and with the rest of the team, are decided in order to partially compensate the cost of raw material. We're not even totally compensating them, but that is a partial compensation. But in the moment that we will see the freights going down, depending obviously on the international activities, we have a commitment also to readjust the prices downwards.
And of course, that's how we end this edition of Business. Sports is up next. Do stay.
Many thanks for staying with us. You're watching Joy News Prime Time to bring you the sports. And Great Olympics head coach Anna Walker, he's described the side's 2020-2021 football campaign as disappointing. The Wonder Club started the season on a bright note and topped the league twice after beating the likes of Accra Hearts-of-Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, as well as the West African Football Academy. However, a poor run of form in the second half of the season led them finishing 6th. Coach Anna Walker is not a happy man. He spoke exclusively to my colleague Haruna Mubarak.
Seriously, you and I know it's been disappointed. I'm really disappointed because, like you said, in the first round, you saw what I was doing. I even went to the top of the table on 2 occasions, and which I come to second, I go back to first, I come to second, come to third, till we finish the first round. we came to the second round. I started good by beating Midiama here. Then all of a sudden, Legon Cities beat us. Seriously, to the end of the second round, I wasn't happy. Losing matches to those are lower teams. So honestly, it made me feel very, very bad, and always talk to my players, ask them why, what is happening. But well, it is sometimes football. And to be honest with you, I've been disappointed. And my target, though the team did not give me a target, I choose to do something different in Olympics. And well, what I would say is, whatever the Lord Almighty wish is what maybe He has given me. So I'm looking at the Lord, what He has for me in stock, maybe next year, where I should be.
Let's turn our attention now to Division 1 football, and BBN Gold Stars head coach Saglemi, he's revealed his strategy in promoting clubs to the top flight. Emisa is regarded as the promotion specialist after qualifying 4 clubs to the Ghana Premier League. He previously guided Sekendi Azakes, Brekum Chelsea, and Elmina Sharks before current club BBN Gold Stars. He says less possession and more attacking is his secret.
I realized that what I did at Brekum Chelsea, I have to try my possible best to repeat that thing at Sekendi Azakes. Initially, I was telling myself, can I make it this time for the second round? But I realized that in Division 1, you don't need too much kind of possession, which most of the teams I play with try to do that. But as I told you earlier on, that putting 3 or 4 or 5 passes together in some kind of pitches is difficult. So I adopted a strategy by myself that just players, let's cross the center before we do the possession. Because on our side, any player who tries to do possession, maybe you can fumble with the ball because the pitch is not all that good. So let's cross the center line and keep the possession over there. And then I give them the instruction, particular instruction, and my players listening to me. So when they get there, you see they enjoy the game. But when we are in a half and you are a spectator, you not enjoy my team because we don't have much time at the back. The much time we need to spend is to be at the opponent attacking third. There you enjoy it because
you were using this strategy with all the 4 clubs that you qualified from there.
Exactly, and that is where most of the coaches in Manzo doesn't realize that.
That's your trick.
That's exactly my strategy.
You can find more sports at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensah, and that's it from me.
And of course, Becky is here with the latest in the world of showbiz. Hello, Becky.
Hello to you.
How are you?
Ernest, how are you?
I'm fine.
Fantastic.
Great.
You look nice.
Thank you.
Let's say a very big congratulations to Doreen Ando because
absolutely the queen of the airwaves.
Yes, she is the woman of the year in media excellence at this year's Women of the Year honors put together by Glit. And so, you know, after the whole ceremony, we had a conversation with Mador, that we probably call her, and here's what she has to say.
I think this just shows that I probably am doing, I have done something good, and I'm still doing something good that I sometimes don't even realize. It's a blessing and an honor for me to be amongst all of these amazing women, because I see they're smart, dedicated people who do a fantastic job. I just think to be counted as one of them is a blessing. That's the way I see it, period.
Let's talk about the journey. I mean, it's been an incredible journey so far. You still continue to do this the very best way that you can. Now, looking at the future and where you've come from right now, you think that this is fulfilling enough for you, and tomorrow you're going to sit back and watch all those moments and say, I did this for Ghana.
Well, the thing is, I'm passionate about what I do. That's the first thing on my list. And so I just like to sway and go into areas where my passion will take me. I live every day knowing that I have to impact people. And the fact that I'm able to do it alone, I am glad that I do it. So that if one day I sit back and I look at all of this, I feel content because I've been able to use my passion to do something that people enjoy.
So definitely congratulations to Mado.
Yeah,
for 25 years,
yes.
she's made our mid-mornings, special.
And still counting, let me just add that. Let's move away from Mado. Let's talk about Sarkodie. Sarkodie was on Hit FM this morning, actually promoting his album, No Pressure, but he took the opportunity to address a few things. So one of them was...
I can guess, the cigar photos.
Exactly. He got a lot of bashing for that. His mother is actually not very excited about it.
Okay.
But Sarkodie is not apologizing to anyone because he thinks that, or not that he thinks, he says that when you come into the entertainment world and you had to celebrate something, you use cigar. And it's a normal thing in the entertainment world.
Really?
Yeah, let's listen to Sarkodie.
Oh, it's... So if you do a little bit research on cigars, just to get the fact that smoking is not good.
Right.
It's not good for your health. And as they said, it's true. Any form of smoking is not good. So what cigars represent, especially in my world of entertainment, is celebrating, success, achievements. So if you see the athletes, that's what they do. They don't smoke on a regular basis, saying they just wake up and start smoking. So when they have something to celebrate, then they take a cigar. So what it represents, and then the fact that you don't inhale it in you take it out, which is still all risky, but everything, there's moderation to it. So yes, it was basically that. It took me a while to even have the nerve to put it out, because I know my people and how they would take things, and I knew that's how they were going to take it. They even took time. I was shocked that it was almost a week before I got the feedback from so for the organization, I guess they're doing their job. That's what they are supposed to do, and I can respect that. But I think most times when these organizations supposedly they are there, it wasn't going to take much for them to approach me to even start doing campaign on the smoking thing. You don't wait till now to come and tell me that I have the best brand and I'm not supposed to do that and all these things. I get it, but the only thing that blew me off was the fact that I don't know if I'm wrong, they're expecting me to apologize, which in our culture, and I get it, that's how we are, but it's very disrespectful to say that. I don't know who wrote that thing for me to come and apologize for holding the cigar. To who? Yes.
To who?
Yes, I get it, and I respect the fact that there's a lot of people who have done even worse, but I was the one that they single out. That should tell you something. It's a good thing. I get it.
Sarkodie right there.
It's always in a celebration mood.
Well, not every day, but whenever he finds himself celebrating something like his new album, No Pressure.
You should expect something like that.
Maybe when I'm celebrating my birthday, I should, hold a cigar and probably. I'm not too sure.
Okay, Becky.
I'll think about it. But Ernest, when you wake up, what drives you when you wake up in the morning and you think about work? Is it the passion or the moolah?
Yeah, I need money, but of course, passion drives me, because there are times when, truth is, you don't feel like coming to work because you may be tired. But look, once you get here, once we begin discussing the story ideas, there's this energy that takes over.
I know.
So yes, we need the money because we have to pay our bills.
Yes.
But there's nothing like waking up to a job that you don't like.
Well, Prince David Osei, actor, he shares the same, views as you, because he is driven by passion, not the money.
I will gladly turn it down. We prepare for where we are going, not where we are. There's a future ahead of me. There are a lot of things I want to do. So sometimes we make certain decisions not because of where we are, but where we're going.
So in other words,
I'll not even listen.
The roles you take are not influenced by money. Is that what you're saying?
It's the passion that drives me in the first place. I'm into the acting because of the passion. it's the passion that drives me to do what I do. That
So
the
it's
money
not
will
the
come.
money.
No, it's not about the money.
Akofa, which?
Okay, so I agree with him.
Yeah, well...
Money is important, but if you don't have the passion, you cannot be good at what you do, and the devil cannot make money.
Money without, money is good, but obviously
thank you very much for bringing us Showbiz. Of course, you are passionate.
Anytime.
You are very passionate. That's it for Showbiz. You're still watching Joy News Prime. We have a lot of stories for you after this. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, a 48-year-old man has shot and killed his partner for allegedly threatening to divorce him at Esuefua Asamang in the Etrima Nwabeja North District of the Ashanti region. The suspect, Bashiru Niyabi, shot and killed 39-year-old Ama Vida around 1 a.m. Monday. Family members say the couple had some relationship hiccups which were recently settled.
Ama Vida was shot in front of a single-room apartment at the Esuefua Asamang new site. The area looks bushy with uncompleted buildings. It was a sad moment when 14-year-old Comfort Kulani, daughter of the deceased, narrated what she saw before the death of her mother.
I told my dad not to shoot my mom. I wanted to save her, but I couldn't. He nearly shot me while I was screaming for help. My mom is the only one who takes care of us.
Her younger sister and two brothers, including the deceased stepson, who is older than them, were sitting on a bench outside. A brother to the deceased, Daniel Larry, says the man has 4 children with the sister, though he was yet to perform customary marriage rites. He says the couple settled their relationship challenges the day before the man carried out the act.
After dining with my in-law, I advised him to desist from quarreling with his wife.
Bashiru's daughter, Comfort Kulani, says she will run away anytime he sees the father. She says her late mother, Ama Vida, was the one taking care of them.
I will run into the bush when I see my father. I knew my father did not have any good intentions for us. It's my mother taking care of us.
The suspect has been arrested and is in custody of Esuefua police. The police suspect he has taken a poisonous substance and needs medical attention. The body of the deceased has been deposited at the Confirmatory Teaching Hospital mortuary.
After failing to raise enough money for orthopedic surgery, a 56-year-old woman suffering from complications in a motor vehicle accident is battling for her life. Her reliance on herbal and traditional treatment rather than specialist medical care has resulted in the deterioration of certain bones in her upper left arm. Her condition is worsened by continuous abnormal and excessive bleeding. Doctors say Janet Efriye requires immediate surgery to prevent bone loss and correct fractures in her deformed position. Ohim Interior of our health desk has come through with the following report.
Madam Janet Efriye hails from Banko near Efijase in the Ashanti region. The widow is surrounded by her 7 children. In front of her room, here, she withers in pain as she rests her bandaged left arm on a pad. Madam Efriye, a trader in fruits and vegetables at Kumasi Central Market, was returning home with 2 of her kids when disaster struck on the outskirts of Banko. They were a few minutes away from home when the taxi they were traveling in somersaulted several times after a head-on collision with another car At about 7:50 p.m. on August 6, 2020, she had asked the driver to kill his speed before the accident occurred. That accident has rendered her left arm ineffectual, and her condition keeps deteriorating as several bone tissues are destroyed. The once vibrant and active breadwinner of the family is now forced to survive on the benevolence of others. Doctors at the Pope John Paul II Medical Center in Jamasi say Madame Afriye needs urgent medical surgery to correct her worsening condition. Dr. Simon Berkon is a medical officer at the facility.
The bone setters couldn't really help to restore the arm into its functional state. And therefore, there's what is called more union. And because of that, she apparently cannot do anything with that limp. It's extremely bad to the sense that she cannot carry anything, she cannot hold anything. And so basically, the arm is just there for the sake of it.
The widow has also been suffering from postmenopausal bleeding, a disorder that causes her to bleed abnormally and excessively for several months after she has reached menopause.
The Biami pretty or what best of Sumians, and I said Sumian, you are quite from quite be our best and nine. Let me pretty sad.
Because a Mujana, a tuno, the Mamujan into me in an insanum. Cause now I say in Adrega. A buyeno, a son of bubues in his knee, into a gum keke. Ama Nensa winner, a mojan intimate femuno. I start April.
Medical experts fear Madame Janet Afriye may be suffering from endometrial carcinoma, cancer of the inside lining of the womb. Dr. Foster Kwaununu is a consultant obstetrician gynecologist at the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital.
Every postmenopausal woman needs to have the inside lining of the womb not to be thicker than 4 millimeters. But from the scan that I have seen, she has about 13 millimeters or 1.3 centimeters, which is about more than 3 times the average thickening of the endometrial lining.
An urgent diagnosis and treatment have been recommended.
The biggest problem in this woman, which is already suffering, is the continuous bleeding, and that can push her into to become anemic or loss of blood to the point that blood levels will be low, and that alone can even kill her. This endometrial carcinoma can also spread to other parts of her body and give her the problems and then kill her in the long run.
Unfortunately, Madame Afriye, who lives on the benevolence of residents of Banco, cannot afford the cost of treatment. In her current living state, it will take years for Madame Afriye to raise the money for her treatment.
We need support. The support that we can use to maybe remove all that sickness from her stomach and treat what is happening in the house so that she will be set free.
Until help comes, the life of Madame Afriye and that of her 7 children will continue to hang in the balance. From Banco in Ashanti region for Joy News, Ohiminteria reporting.
In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and with the increase in medical cases in Ghana, the Accra Medical Center has built a new 45-bed capacity ultra-modern hospital facility as part of efforts to support government in the provision of quality healthcare. The hospital officially opened the new facility on Friday to the public. My colleague Judith Awatritando visited there, and here's her report.
The Accra Medical Center was built in 2011 with just a handful of workers and clients. Today, the center services over 90,000 patients. Over the years, it has fulfilled its primary aim of providing quality and affordable healthcare services. However, in the wake of the pandemic and with the increasing number of medical cases, board chair of the medical center, Moses Kluko, indicated that the hospital thought it wise to expand its services.
So we started planning such a project about 10-20 years ago. And then we came out, actually I came back to Ghana this September, 11 years. And when we came, we started going to other places and the challenges we faced, sitting down, waiting for a doctor for 4 hours, going through the difficulties of getting good care. We thought it was the right thing to do. So we started Accra Medical Center 2011. And over the years, our clients and patients asked for more. They wanted a one-stop shop. They enjoyed the service we gave and wanted to have everything in-house. So we started to expand our service, and that led to this project.
Today, the Accra Medical Center, through its newly built 45-bed capacity hospital facility, is able to provide orthopedic services with neurosurgery and ICU services set to begin within this month.
Okay, so this project is for Ghana. It's to serve Ghanaians. We have 3 wards, a pediatric ward. Each ward is 12 beds. We have a female ward and we have a male ward. We have 2 surgical theaters. We do all kinds of cases, from ENT to orthopedics. We've already started orthopedics. We've done about 7 hip replacements. We are hoping to do a neurosurgery case somewhere in August. And we are hoping to have other specialists on board to do a lot of cases. So now the plan is to shorten the waiting time for cases at the big hospital.
In an interview with Joy News, Marketing and Communications Manager of Stanbic Bank, Maukwa Fajinu, explained the company is always in support of such projects due to the impact it has on the Ghanaian populace.
We've had a very good relationship with this project from the beginning. It's one that has impact beyond the building you see. It provides a critical service to the economy, particularly to the provision of healthcare. And these are projects that the bank actively looks for and actively partners because of the cascading impact it has on the society.
The Accra Medical Center hopes to complement the government's efforts to produce quality healthcare in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. Judith Awachitando, Joy News.
Now, 9-year-old viral day boy Oswald Genu has presented the gifts he received from big brands and individuals to the Royal Seed Orphanage in the Central Region. In an interview with Joy News, his father, Mark Genu, stated he was surprised to see some criticism on social media that his son is not a needy child, hence did not deserve all the gifts. Well, he says Oswald benefited from God's grace and favor. The Class 3 pupil's quest to ensure his mother doesn't use forgetfulness as an excuse to deny him a happy last day of the school term, popularly referred to as our day, decided to put his request on paper. Oswald's letter found its way onto the internet, and after his mom showed it to a colleague, it went viral. Maxwell Alba has more from the presentation ceremony.
Tucked away from the comfort of Accra life is the Royal Seed Orphanage. It is afternoon and the children here are happy playing various games. The teenagers amongst them are in their beautiful cadet uniforms as they sing a song of gratitude. Class 3 pupil Oswald Genu is here with his parents, family and friends. They are here to spend time with the children and also donate what he received on Friday.
9-year-old Oswald believes in the act of sharing. He says that he was very excited and overwhelmed with joy when corporate Ghana showed up in his school to make the day memorable for him. He believes that he has to share that joy with underprivileged children also.
I didn't really know that Mommy is going to buy everything. But if she bought some, I would have taken it because it's better than taking nothing to our day. I'm happy that I came here, I've shared everything, and I know that almost everyone here are less privileged, but I just want to share everything and feel happy. Very, very, very excited.
Oswald's father, Mark Genu, says he has noticed significant changes in his son after Friday's event that brought him into the limelight. On some criticisms on social media that his son is not an underprivileged child, hence undeserving of the gifts big brands showered on him, Mark Genu says it was God's grace and favor that found him, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. He says that is why the family has also decided to present the items to the needy.
One thing that I keep telling my colleague is that also just wrote a letter to the parents. Someone will say it's just a normal letter. Yes, we believe it's just a normal letter, but there is something that is hidden that goes with the letter that maybe people have not taken their time to understand. The grace and the favor of God is behind that letter. That is what has brought the young man into this limelight. Well, I smile over them. Well, some of them, I think I don't pay attention to them. I read them, I smile over them. But I also want to thank Ghana because a lot of people come in to talk for us, and so we don't need to even say anything about them. In fact, we personally, I mean the Genu's family, myself, my wife, Oswald, and the rest of the entire family, we believe in giving, we believe in putting smiles in the face of everyone. And we think that the same joy Oswald had on Friday, we need to also extend it to other children.
Oswald's mother, Rita Genu, says it has always been her wish to help underprivileged children, and Friday's event has helped her to fulfill one of her heart's desires.
This is Johnny Prime with me, Ernest Mini. We're taking a short break. On Way 10, we'll bring you some more. Don't go away. For tonight, many thanks for your company. Log on to myjohnline.com. You find more stories there and videos of the various stories. Thank you very much for your company. I'm Ernest Mini.